On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight, thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Power Media on the screen. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral line. Ancestral line.
Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, brother Blacksmith, and sister Marcia will be joining us in a minute. We black again, family. We rock out tonight. We got a lot to discuss. A lot has happened in a week. Let me get my brothers on here. Brother Tad, he's still under the brother, still trying to make it through. How you doing, brother Tad?
Oh man, sis, peace. Yeah, that's why I got the shades on. My eyes is looking crazy right now. One of my coworkers told me I look like Forrest Whitaker today. She said one eye was closed, the other one was open. Had a banging headache, fighting this cold, this weather. It's so tricky. I'm just over New York weather. But how you feeling, sis?
Good. I was under the weather myself. This stuff it's going around. I hope everybody's trying to maintain their health because this is the season for them things to be flying around and you don't want to get caught up in the whirlwind. So do your best to try to stay as healthy as you possibly can. Let me get my brother Blacksmith up on the BK Bridge. Bronx in the building. What's good, brother Black? How are you?
Yo, what's up, y'all? What's up, brother? Oh, see, brother Tad already started. I ain't even start talking before you did.
I'm just saying peace, brother.
Man, come on, man. That's a Vulcan mark, man. You about to hit my neck and knock me out, right? Hey,
if you don't got my money.
Don't let brother Tad lie to you. He had one of the Anunnaki dudes hem him up on the roof last week, like I've been saying.
I said I don't know Billy Carson.
He's starting already. See?
Shout out to Billy Carson.
That's what happened. Steve, brother Tad was sick. That fever kicking out. So you see what I'm saying? You gotta give him a pass, Black. You gotta give him a pass. But that's crazy. Billy Carson got pulled up, boy. I'm telling you.
Got cooked.
I'm gonna stop listening to these charlatans out here. Boy, I'm telling you. It was funny too. It was funny because there's also a video of him going around that he pulled up to the dude's house. Him to air that tank.
Wow.
At 3 in the morning.
That's what it is in the conscious community why a lot of these dudes be having beef and there's always arguments among our quote unquote scholars because when you disprove the rhetoric That's my favorite word, rhetoric. When you disprove the rhetoric, you tampering with their money. It's like dudes on the block. You know what I'm saying? If you see all of us got 10 bigs, don't come out here with your 12s. You know what I'm saying? Cutting our throats, messing up the money. And that's how the game go. I feel bad for Billy Carson, only to the fact that he constantly quoting the Emerald Tablets, right? All of this is assumptions. All of these things. None of us was around 30,000 years ago, And my thing is, you're not gonna beat white folks at their myth and fables. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then for his wife to come on with her homegirl and try to co-sign, like, you was debating a dead man. He was dead. And then zoom in on the Band-Aid on his arm. Like, word? You can collect your insurance then, sis. But, it's just so much tomfoolery because this week has been crazy. With Billy Carson, Jay-Z, Remy and Papoose this morning. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Brother
It's
Black.
that season.
40 years out, brother. Revelations.
Yeah, but look, Brother Black, you was right. We definitely moving that fifth dimension and tell these people leave it behind. Look, I never thought I'd see the day where I was in agreement with Tasha K. But she's going after that chick, Dr. Bryant, the one who calls herself a relationship guru, but really trying to steal the women from other men, like that other chick, Princella. All of these fake relation gurus who ain't got nobody. Like, it's amazing. You gotta listen to married people. You know what I'm saying? Listen to Sister Keisha.
Don't listen to me. Listen to yourself.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Do what works for you.
Yeah.
But the thing is so much fanfare. This celebrity hype has been going on for generations. And you see the cracks in foundation because the lies can't hold anymore. We're in a technological age, so the lies can no longer hold. So you're seeing a lot of truths being unearthed, if you will. And I believe Cat Williams will be back for part 2 on Club Shay Shay. When was it? I think next month, right? Next month.
Yeah, he might as well do a part 2 in January. He did it last January, right after the aliens appeared in Miami last year. Oh, this year. Yeah. But going to piggybacking off Tad, what Brother Tad was saying a minute ago about Billy Carson, I decided to stop paying attention to him because as deep as I go, if y'all think I go deep, I don't need to go that deep because, like you said, brother, we can't prove all it. It's like trying to prove what happened in the Bible happened.
Right. And you know what's so crazy, right, Brother Black? Like I always say, when I came into the knowledge, I started with the Bible, then went to the Illuminati, then went to African-centered teachers. So I was already familiar with Dr. York, Zachariah Sitchin, and all of this stuff. Like, it's regurgitated, but people wasn't going to bookstores in the 90s, at least not this generation. They don't even know that there are things called bookstores where you had to go to a bookstore. You had to go to the place, get the book, go through it page by page, and then get a couple of more other books on the topic that either supports or is in conflict with what you just read. That study now, they'll just throw a YouTube on, say, let me see what Billy Carson talking about, and they run with it. Because he's been quoting that, what's that Bible he kept saying? Because I'm just looking like, why are we debating Bibles when you have no artifacts? We got presumptions.
Bingo. Say that again, Ted. Say that line one more again.
Presumptions and assumptions. We believe that Noah's Ark was here. We believe that the Ark of the Covenant was here. We believe this was Solomon's temple. But where are these people bones? Where's anybody in the Bible? The Bible named hundreds of people. Where's anybody's final resting place? You know what I'm saying? And this is not to debunk the Bible, but this is for us to be critical analysis now that we know we done charted what we consider the planets. Because I don't know. Maybe the Earth is flat. Maybe Antarctica is an ice wall. I don't know. I'm just starting to leave America. I think 8 years ago. It's the first time I left the country in 2016. So I don't know. I only been to Africa a couple of times, Mexico, DR. I ain't been nowhere yet. But who's to say if these things are real or not? But that's what these dudes are doing. They're debating opinions. And just because you write something in a book doesn't make it law. And I think that's the point they're missing. So I felt bad for the brother, but then I don't. Because Sister Keisha, Brother Black, y'all know we seen all these conscious charlatans for so long. Sucker Polite, Young Pharaoh, SETI, all of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? We seen them. We seen the holes in the theory. We seen the behaviors. Dudes talking about it's okay to sniff coke. Another dude want to be inappropriate with children. Like, are we serious? And this is your king? This is your king? I know for us three, I know I can speak for us three right here. We've been followers of ourselves. We've been followers of what's in alignment with us. Me and Sister Keisha still ain't going to agree about Stevie Wonder, but that's all right. That's still my sister.
Listen,
you know,
we gonna leave it on that. We gonna leave it on that. You know, it is what it is. I love my brother, but Stevie get about 3 songs and turn it off.
When she get at you, just sing to her, "Isn't she lovely?"
Right.
See?
Shout out to our brother Knowledge Born Allah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's just why Remy and Pap is going through what they doing. He invited the Bronx in. You see what happened? When you bring the Bronx in, that gravy don't mix. Brooklyn and the Bronx, the gravy don't mix.
Listen. You're saying all that. Wasn't Biggie cheating on Little Kim and married Faith behind her back? Come on now.
Kim wasn't really his girl though.
Well, she was his label mate.
His concubine, his shorty, his short.
Yeah,
Ring.
but
Come on.
still, he married her. He married Faith. Didn't even tell her.
He don't owe her no explanation.
Yo,
Shout out
Faith
to Lil
only
Kim.
shed one tear at that funeral. But Little Kim was sobbing like somebody killed the mama and her baby. Y'all know it's true. Come on, cut it out. Y'all know that's true.
You know the funny part though? I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know the funny part that's seldom talked about is that he was with Charlie Baltimore when he passed. He wasn't with Faith or Kim. He's with Charlie Baltimore. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. You can't help who likes you. I think Kim was in love with him because he took her out the hood, gave her a life that she only dreamed about. But I'm quite sure she was clear because I mean, I knew his daughter's mother. I know his daughter's mother, the whole family, you know. If Kim was so concerned, she know his baby moms live right around the corner. Where's her respect? You know what I mean? But that's the arrangement they had. And as we was talking about Dr. Brian, and I was looking at something in Neo, and I look at relationships that work, relationships that don't work. The ones that work is because the agreement that the couple came up with, and they was cool with that. Whether you or I agree with it or not, that's none of our business. If it works for Kim and Big, then it works for them. You know what I'm saying? Because Faith didn't grow up with Big, Kim did. Charlie Baltimore ain't grow up with Big, Kim did. You know, everybody knew each other for years. I'll never forget, Little Kim was in the Teenage Love video. Little Kim always been popular. Actually, a couple of people in Junior Mafia was already popular without a record deal. They were just cool people from the hood. You know, that's back when the hood was the village. Everybody knew each other, you know. So here it is, everybody struggling together. Now they rich together. It's a whole new dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Especially for somebody to get wiped off the board. You know, so whatever arrangement they have, that's on them. I was watching Tasha K flame Dr. Bryant. You know, she might have got her degree from DeVry or something, you know, because everybody questioning her degree. Talk about she's a psychology expert. Nah, the real experts are called psychologists.
Tell the people what that's all about, Brother Ted. This Dr. Brian. Who is this Dr. Brian person?
Well, Dr. Brian is somebody who's making a rounds on social media right now because we know social media is the new star maker. And she got her run on Cam Newton's show. You know, she got on as a guest as a favor to Cam Newton's friend who allegedly Dr. Brian was cool with and seeing or whatever. But Dr. Brian got on Cam Newton's platform and attacked him about his lifestyle choice. You know what I mean? So that frayed the relationship between Cam Newton and the homegirl, the mutual friend of Cam and Dr. Brian. But because she was on Cam Newton's show, it gave her credibility. So other people started putting on a show like Nick Cannon and all these other podcasts. And where she's been around is spewing anti-black man rhetoric. But I've seen this story before because you had the lesbian chick. Can we say lesbian, Sister Keisha? Can we say that? Can I say Butch too, or that's too?
Butch, Bull Dagger,
okay.
Carpet Muncher.
And my grandmama would say the Bull Dagger Princella. You know what I'm saying? was selling the same rhetoric, causing a divide amongst black men and black women. When right now we know in this space and time we need each other now more than ever. But you got people coming in with their sexual agendas, trying to sway the women to come on the dark side because the rainbow folks is still going hard. And with this rhetoric, they're making black men to be the villain, trying to scoop up black women, bring them to their side. So this chick, Dr. Bryan, is now making her way around. And yes, K. Rush and Corey Holcomb called out too. But what it is causing a further divide as opposed to let's be honest about what we're looking for in relationships. Who are we really? Because as black folks in America, we know that's something that's been destroyed. Our love for each other has been done through the social welfare systems. It's been done through the media, through the music, all types of things contributing to the foolishness. But here these people come with their pseudo degrees, further perpetuating the Willie Lynch syndrome. That black women, you don't need no black men. Get you a 6-figure man, 10 feet tall, with $100 million in the bank and a schlong down to his ankle and all the foolishness. And it's not real. A man should pay all the bills. Not in this economic climate, you don't. And if a man got a woman, he got to pay for everything. He paying the cost to be the boss, so he don't owe her no explanation. He can stay out as long as he want. He can come and go as he please. Don't think because you warm in my bed, you got some say so. If you're not contributing equitably. And I'm not talking about financially. I'm talking about in terms of level of intelligence, decision making, representation of us as a unit, and behavior when you're in public. You got to act the fool when you home. When you home, let's have a pillow fight. Let's have a water fight in the house. Let's throw cups of water at each other, being silly. But when we outside, we got to represent the best of who we say we are. And these people aren't doing that. And it's so unfortunate because I also seen Neo being attacked because he's like, yo, I realize I can't be monogamous. It's a problem I have that. So rather than say, you know what, at least he's being honest about it now. Everybody attacking him still. I'm just like, I'm tired of hearing these relationship conversations with people who aren't in successful, sustaining relationships. Because what I realized is the key. Okay.
No, go ahead. Finish that, please. Finish.
Yeah, because I was wrapping this point up. What I realized, a lot of people just want to be in relationships so they could post it on social media, act like they got one up on their homegirls or whatever, because they treat men now like Birkin bags, shoes, and puppies. You know, men have become an accessory. And we're not dealing with how do we really nation build? How do we really build the family? I saw a video this morning. A whole bunch of flamers, these dudes is battling each other, looked like they was in Atlanta. And I said, all these disappointed fathers and all of these could have been warriors is in here battling, voguing and dropping it like it's hot. And then nothing but sissies. Nothing but sissies. And that's what I was doing, Sister Keisha, shaking my head. I'm like, look how far our brothers have sank. They definitely in a sunken place. But I'm off my soapbox. What you was gonna say? Get ready to say something, Brother Black.
In defense of whatever you heard about, do you know the backstory on Neo?
In terms of what, his music, his relationship? No,
how he deal with women. He done a lot of women dirty, bro. Super dirty. I heard stories.
I could believe it.
That's yeah. So what I heard, it would be too long for me to explain here, but I'm just saying, if you hear the backstory on what he's done to women, he deserved, and he's been implicated in them parties too. So
yeah, I was about to say, like, yo, he was with the diddler in them. So I don't put nothing past a lot of these celebrities, even Jay-Z. I'm hoping that he was smart enough to survive the streets, to not get in this industry and waste it all. You know, it's a hell of a feat to get out the streets. I got a regular 9 to 5, and I pat myself every day that I'm not where I used to be and I'm not who I used to be. You know what I mean? My supervisor always say, like, yo, you come in, you just bring this energy. I said, because, yo, I know what the other side of this is. I know what the other side of not having a job. Sister Keisha, I used to get fly every day. The fly is closed to go post up on the block. Just stand on the corner. Walk from corner to corner, hood to hood, to see your outfit. And that was so corny, but that was that was the whack value system of the social dynamic I was a part of. You know, when you're a hustler, it's all about having the newest, latest, most expensive, being seen, being recognized, all foolishness. It's a low value system that we adopt, and we got to break that mindset. You know, ain't nothing wrong with being legit. Because I remember people telling little dudes, you know, on just supporting criminal behavior, criminality. That's one thing I've never done. That's one thing I've never done was support criminality amongst young people. But dudes in my age group, dudes in my peer group, I got homies right now that still think they got it. We 50 plus, brother Black, and dudes still out here trying to fight, getting worn out by these little dudes. But you still out here like it's 1989, like it's 1990. You ain't got it no more, Jack. We grandfathers. We supposed to be cool, easy, learn how to talk our way out of stuff. But dudes still want to hold on to this persona. So I say that to say I hope Jay-Z wasn't foolish enough, because I know for a fact Jay-Z was dealing with the real deal. When I watch people say Jay-Z wasn't really out there, I was like, I wish people knew what they was talking about.
All they got to know is the name The Haven. That's all they got to know.
Right. Right. Because The Haven let it be known we had a lot of work. We had a lot going on. So if The Haven is saying we moving big weight, how you gonna say he wasn't moving? How you gonna say Jay wasn't moving big weight? And not to glorify it, but just to look at how far he's come. I hope he's not throwing it all away with what's that, Madam Brabovich, the witch chick.
Are you talking about Marina Abramovich?
Yeah, Marina Abramovich. Yeah, her. You know, you rocking with Leo Cohen and all of these other people who has very shady practices. I was hoping he was smart enough to know when to go home, because that's one thing that kept me alive in the streets. No matter what was going on, I knew what time to get out of there. I knew what time to go home. And that's very important. Sister Keisha, remember, I used to always tell the young people, you hanging out with your friends, you get that little funny feeling in your stomach, go home. Go home. So don't let nobody talk you in the stand. When you get that little funny feeling in your gut, go home. And I hope Hove did that. And if he didn't, he got enough money to try to get himself out. But I don't know. They might freeze his assets. But who knows? But I'm off that soapbox.
You know, it's funny because I want to give a shout out quickly to some of the viewers. Sister Farnessa on the check-in. K Rush 409, Philly in here heavy. Yeah. Big Mar, what's up? What's up? Sister Pat, Freedom Party in the building. And the great one himself, Knowledge Born Allah in the building. Definitely check out Do the Knowledge Radio and the BK William Mackey History Club in the building. I believe they had Irritated Genie in here last week, I think.
Yes, Brother Ray brought out our brother Genie. And shout out to everybody in the chat too. Word, nothing but love. But yeah, he came through. You know, he dropped it only like he can. You know, it was very informative. He had a structured presentation he wanted to do, but it just turned into an all-out conversation that was dope. And it was just good to kick it with him, build with him. I couldn't stay long. Like I said, I'm still sick. I was a little under the weather that day, but I had enough strength to get up and come outside, you know. And, you know, it's only around the corner, so I was able to do that. And it was good to see everybody, Dr. Mac, you know, Big Brother Mike. It's always, you know, and real quick, Sister Keisha, I'm going to give you the mic back. As sure as we talk about Billy Carson and all these fake dudes, it's good to see the real ones, too. So shout out to CMO Tab, 100 Blacks in law enforcement. Shout out to the William Mackey Study Group, you know, and everybody else who do what they can where they are, because it ain't about the fanfare. It ain't about coming in with makeup, eye heru on your eyes and all type of velvet Kangos and all this foolishness, all these costumes, man. Like, are you helping people in your immediate vicinity? Are you helping your cousin, your brother, your children, your grandchildren? Are you helping your coworkers and your neighbors? Start where you at, man. You don't need 1 million YouTube followers, even though that helps for residual income. Look, I'm not a poor righteous teacher. I am not going to curse money. I welcome money. I'm not a capitalist, but I'm not a fool either. Money makes the world go round. You ain't doing nothing without no money. People say money don't solve problems. Money solve financial problems. You need a place to live, money gonna help. You need some healthy food to eat, money gonna help. You cold, money buy you some nice warm clothes. I don't know what's up with dudes who be cursing money. Man, money ain't nothing. All right, well, give me yours.
Right? Run it this
Give me
way. Run
yours.
it this way. Run it this way. But and shout out to Dr. Filet and MWM on the check-in, always
Yes.
filling in here heavy. Speaking of Philly, you know, a lot of people don't know that, you know, Philly was, or Pennsylvania, but Philadelphia in particular, was the hub for the abolitionist movement. It is also the founding home of the Boule. And Philly is a very interesting place. Its connection to New York and Philly, because New York and Pennsylvania were the birthplaces of this nation. So the history between the two is quite fascinating. But we'll get into a history a little bit later, because I want to talk about the Pullman porters a little bit in our history piece, and also the Pullman maids. A lot of people talk about the porters, but don't talk about the Pullman maids, or even knew they existed, because we got a trip coming up this Saturday. So we want to touch on that as well. But, you know, more information has come out with Mangione, Luigi Mangione. White on white crime, y'all. Here we go. You
In
know,
Pennsylvania.
NPA. He ran back to PA, you know, a graduate of Penn. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what unfolds with this case. I saw a little bit of his manifesto, of him talking about the healthcare industry, not just that, but how Americans in general are getting fooled by the elites and so on and so forth. So, you know, let's play this news clip and we'll come right back and we'll discuss. Hold on, family.
Mangione, the alleged assassin of United Healthcare's CEO, went absolutely crazy after painful back surgery and explored psychedelic treatment for his chronic pain, friends claimed. The 26-year-old suspect had been struggling with chronic back pain and underwent a major surgery in 2023 following a surfing accident in Hawaii, a friend told the New York Times. The experience, however, was really traumatic and difficult for him and changed everything. X-rays Mangione shared with the friend showed massive screws drilled into his spine. While recovering, Mangione went silent and began exploring alternative pain management methods, including psychedelics and magic mushrooms. His family became so concerned that they reported him missing on November 18th, according to the New York Post. A 2-page handwritten manifesto found during his arrest on Monday specifically targeted United Healthcare, claiming that while the company's market value has soared, American life expectancy has not. Luigi Mangione.
Your thoughts, Brother Black, on Luigi Mangione and, you know, what was just revealed in this piece by the Daily Mail?
I only want one bit of information on this dude. How did he know how to target this guy and when to do it? Because, I mean, he didn't live in the same state. As far as I know, I don't know of any personal connection. So how did he know to be there right at the time when that man was going to come across the street early in the morning like that? That's all I got to say on that. So PSYOP, if you ask me.
Got you. Brother Tad, your thoughts?
Oh, man. It must be nice to have all that money where you could just do all of this stuff and then just run around and shoot people because you're uncomfortable.
Oh, my gosh.
It bugs me out. I'm different. I don't know what to say, Sister Keisha.
It's crazy because, again, these things are so repetitive. You know, but when you look at it, all of these alleged lone gunmen, remember before I said there's no such thing, but these alleged lone gunmen all graduate of elite universities or mainstream universities, and then coming back and, you know, attacking either the government or persons or, you know, groups of persons. These things continue to happen. Just the other day, was it Tuesday? Jordan Neely's let me get Sister Marcia in here first. Sister Marcia in the building. What's good, Sister Marcia? How are you? I think you're muted. You're muted, sis.
Peace,
There you are.
family. How's everyone doing on this 12/12 day? On this third Black Talk. I hope everyone is manifesting and being as great as possible. Let's get into it.
All right. Peace, sis.
Sister Keisha, you muted again.
Okay. Sister Marcia, I believe Tuesday, you know, the Jordan Neely's the person who committed homicide on Jordan Neely was acquitted of the charge this week. But again, me personally, I'm not surprised. It's what happens. I believe last year a black man was acquitted of the same thing, of unaliving a person on a New York City subway. You have professionals in New York City government who are saying that crime is down in the subway when the reality is something totally different. I'm just glad I don't take the subway into the city anymore. But anyway, Sister Marcia, your thoughts on the feeling of the public, or is there outcry from the public regarding the verdict on Daniel Penny's assault on Jordan Neely?
I believe we are numbed. We no longer see any value in these things. When someone is, when the verdict goes the other way, I think people would then galvanize a little bit more. But time over time, they assassinate us or unalive us and they walk away. And it's been going on for so long that now the people are just tired and they don't care. It's just like, oh, okay, another black boy is dead, another father, another husband, another son. Who cares? And even if it's a woman as well, right? So it's really not about the gender anymore. It's nobody cares. No, there is no love for community anymore.
I hear your point on that. You know, I think they expected those who are affiliated with this whole Black Lives Matter group expected more of a public outcry. But in reality, this uptick in crime in New York City subways, the uptick in the panhandling, the uptick in insane persons moving throughout the city has become very, very problematic. Back in our day, you had a transit police, right? A separation of the sort from NYPD. But even then, you know, crime was crazy in the subways. And I don't see a coming to heel as far as that situation is concerned, because there are so many people who move throughout the subway system, and you know, you can move freely however way you wish. You don't have to be, you know, mentally sane, if you will. And you know, ever since the pandemic, in my humble opinion, there has been an uptick of persons with mental illness moving throughout the systems. I don't know if you all have recognized that, but
I see it every day.
see, that's just why I don't take it no more.
Started my morning with dudes sprawled out on the train. I'm on my way to work. And I get on the train and they got, you know, they don't smell good. And I recognize mental health issues. I see it for what it is, but it's still unfortunate those of us who's paying high prices to get on these stinking trains and shoddy service and all the things that can go wrong. It's like New York is the real Gotham City, because it is
Speaking of
crazy.
shoddy service, didn't the train go out the other day as well? People had to walk through the tunnels.
I don't
They
know,
had to
because
walk through the tunnels because the system malfunctioned or what have you. There was a fire, and people had to get off and walk through the tunnels. See,
that was yesterday. They said Con Ed had a problem, and Con Ed is like, I don't know how my problem rolled over to your problem, and yada, yada, yada. But to everyone's point, I live on the last stop, and everywhere I lived was the last stop of the train. And 6 o'clock in the morning, you're going to work. When I had to go to corporate life, when I was in corporate life, it was a horrible situation. And that's like between 6 and 9, you want to be the first person on the train, and boom, every cart is the conductor's cart. That's the fortunate cart that has no persons in there. But it's unfortunate. And then I would think I was paying $1 something for a train. Now it's about $3. This is crazy. $3, and you just keep wanting to upcharge people for nothing.
Sister Marcia.
Yes, brother.
Real quick, in alignment with what you're saying, did you peep how they're trying to really make it a subscription? This whole Omni thing,
yes.
They want you to pay $34 a week, and then you can ride after a certain amount. You can ride as much as you want.
Yes,
I said,
I don't want that.
Me neither.
I don't want that. And they are literally forcing it on you. And sometimes you tap with your card. I don't even like tapping with my card. So if I'm not taking the train, I'm walking on the bus.
I still got a Metro card. I just swipe. I load it.
Yeah, but they're going to change that system out completely from subways. Yeah. They're saying by the end of 2025 there will be no swipe services.
When they do, I'll just hop the turnstile again.
High five. Where's my high five?
But something Trump said when he won the election a few weeks ago. He said that the way he sounded, and I'm sure one of y'all at least heard this, he sounded like he's going to reopen the Creedmoors of the world. Sister Marcia, do you know what Creedmoor is?
Yes, I know them very well. I know of Creedmoors very well, and it'll be a catch-22. Like, you want people to get services, but those institutions, they don't provide healthy services for people, and that's why they were shut down.
Well, if you remember what he did for the VA, which started running effectively until Biden came back. Remember, this dude is more of a businessman, so you have to be efficient with businessmen as opposed to politicians who's just trying to get money under the table. Remember the ice skating rink story? I don't know if you remember that. That was Trump's claim to fame to the world, with a ice skating rink called the Women's Skating Rink in Central Park. And so what I'm saying is, if he do it the way I think he's going to do it, these places are going to reopen and start serving these people, and with oversight of somebody who is doing it from a business perspective and not from a political one or a medical one, or how the medical system used to run. So we need to look into that too, and hopefully, because remember, he's from the same city we from too, so he got more skin in the game than just anybody from Idaho or someplace in California or something like that. So let's hope for the best in that regard, is what I'm saying.
And we could blame the mayor who is shutting down all of these places and then moving them off the streets, just pushing them underground. Like you shut down the hospitals, but then you don't have no tangible services is in place for these people, saying you want them off the street. Adams.
Oh, okay.
Then you say you want these people off the streets. Remember, they had the sanitation taking down all of these little tent cities only to accommodate the migrants and call this a sanctuary city and say, no, but let them come. When we could have just took care of our folks and allocated those resources, because it is dangerous. I'm telling you, and I think I shared this on the show before. One day I was taking my evening walk and some dude just jumped at me like that. And all I could do was laugh, Sister Keisha, because I know I could beat the brakes off him. So it's clear you got mental health issues if you're going to play with me like that, not knowing that I'm willing to go all the way. But you know what I did? He realized I'm crazy too. Because all I did was laugh at him, Sister Keisha. I laughed so hard, like Richard Pryor just told a joke. Because we was on Gates Avenue. Ain't nobody outside on Gates Avenue at nighttime. You know, Gates Avenue kind of quiet. Man, I'd have mollywopped him and drug him in somebody's yard. Because I was already upset, but all I could do was laugh. But then I feel bad because it's not like I'm fighting a gangster or a thug or another warrior. It's somebody with mental health issues.
Yeah.
And it is a crisis. It's a real crisis, you know.
Yeah, mental health professionals are desperately needed more now than ever. And I think that that's a profession that we need to push heavily. Anybody who's thinking about running for a political office, you need to advocate for that heavily. Go ahead, Sister Marcia.
So what I was saying is to Tad, Adams now has this task force to go underground and serve these people. It was just on the news today, but this task force has been around since de Blasio. So a lot of the hits, you know, Adams is not my guy, but I don't want Adams to take hits for some things. Like this issue, it's more de Blasio that began the shutdowns of facilities to transition them into other places, but that transition place never happened. I believe his wife was supposed to manage that, but that never happened. So, you know, they're investigating Adams. They never investigated where all that money went from de Blasio. So that's just something that should be looked at. That's on the table. Needless to say, if you are an individual who needs a position and you go to this website and apply, you're putting yourself at 100% risk because no one is really covering you when you're trying to assist people on a train. That's the last place to try to intervene. I'm sorry. I've seen interventions like this and it doesn't work. And I'm not sure why they're planning this like this and making us seem like, oh, this is going to be safe. It's not going to be safe for the workers. How are you going to make it safe for the workers? Because next thing you know, we're going to hear about a worker was attacked, unfortunately, because this is not a safe way to intervene.
Or throwing them into correctional facilities are causing even bigger problems there. A lot of the problems that, you know, they face in those correctional facilities come by way of those who are mentally disturbed. So that I foresee that being a huge problem as well. But for a background, for those who don't know what took place on the subway, this is what happened.
I mean, you can always come back.
J Street. Yeah.
Oh my god, my hand is black. Yeah.
Sir, we get to go this way?
Step over that round.
Woo! Okay, we are in the tracks. Never thought I would do this. Dear God.
You could go on. You could look on the map.
I mean, can
Hey, Sister Keisha, I want to piggyback off of something Sister Marcia said. In agreement. We got to understand one thing, and as far as Eric Adams is concerned in particular, before when the migrant crisis was popping off in the beginning, he was all migrant, let him in, sanctuary city, blah, blah, blah. As soon as he even hinted that it wasn't going to work the way they thought it would, is when they put that investigation on him. And I saw a video yesterday or the day before, I don't remember by who, that where the dude was saying that Eric Adams used to be a Republican and that now he's going to start working with Trump because he knew it wasn't going to work because all this money's going out, especially black people complaining that these dudes is getting all this kind of money and living in the best hotels none of us can afford to stay in. And we on the street and still begging to just get a damn studio apartment somewhere in the Bronx or, Far Rockaway where hardly anybody that ain't from there want to live at.
Not the Bronx. But I got your point.
I'm done. Tad got it for me today. He's making up for 2 weeks now.
Crazy. He is. You got to let him flow, Black. Let him flow. Just let him go ahead. He on medication. Let him go ahead.
But wait, who's walking on train tracks? Who's doing that?
They had no option.
Me and the rats are not taking a walk together.
No choice. You act like they was in your bedroom or something like that.
Say that again.
Right.
Yeah, they have no choice. What you want them to do? Stay there all night until the fire?
I will wait. I paid my $3. I can wait.
You're walking on them tracks just like everybody else.
No.
All the fine women that you think is all they
would have to carry me on a stretcher.
Whatever.
Look, back when I was younger and we used to go to Midtown, since Keith, you remember Midtown, what the brothers used to go to Midtown for. That's how we used to get away. Hit the tracks. Pew! Go help ourselves to whatever the Urugu have extra laying around in his pocket.
Oh God!
Hit him on the tracks.
There you go. But it's crazy because the cost of living in this city is just ridiculous, and to have these problems with an aging system, for an entity that has double and triple books, is problematic, and they just going to tax the citizens even more. So now Kathy Hochul, she announces that, some New Yorkers will be getting a little cash back in 2025.
Cash back for what? Everything?
Some city tax or some state tax refunded back to you. But it comes to about $350 or something like that. But I find that insulting. Considering everything, the billions that have been laid out for illegal migrants, not just in this city, but through cities throughout this nation, to offer people pennies and crumbs is problematic. So I say to you voters out there, the burden is on you. Will you continue to participate in such a system? You have to ask yourselves these questions. And what I find also interesting is that so many platforms are now speaking out against the nation of Israel. Finally, they're speaking out against the nation of Israel and the problems that it causes, the monies that have been siphoned out to Israel is disgusting. And they tell us in the same breath that they don't have reparations for us, but you can give billions and billions of dollars to an entity that attacked just yours. A lot of people don't know that Israel attacked the United States. I forget what is it? The USS Trust. I'll find it.
It's the Cole. You're talking about the Cole.
Is it the USS Cole?
Yeah.
That Israel attacked.
Let me find it.
Yeah, actually, Candace Owens had a special on, I think, yesterday. But a lot of people don't talk about these things. And as far as the money that is stifled out to Israel is another thing. And I can't stress this point enough. We missed the ball in 2008 with Cynthia McKinney. I'm sorry. We missed the ball heavy. And that's why we're paying a wicked price for it now. Everybody was Team Obama. Nobody didn't want to hear nothing about Cynthia McKinney. We missed the ball, and we are paying a heavy price for that. And let's just hear some words that she said about the nation of Israel and what she uncovered during her years as a U.S. Congresswoman. Here we go. Let's listen, family.
Fact is that American Jews support Israel, and I understood that. And the fact is that every Jewish prime minister that I have known has enlisted American Jews to bring as much pressure as possible in the political process on American presidents. That's understandable. I don't object to it. Now, a president must not go along with it on occasion, because let me explain something about what is called the Jewish lobby in this country. Now, as good Americans as they are, they believe that America's survival and security is directly related to Israel's. In other words, their belief is that being for Israel first means that does not mean you're putting America second, because they think it goes together. An American president, however, has to approach it in a different way, in my opinion. He's got always to think first of what is best for America. But on occasions, for example, an American president must make a decision that does not, in effect, give the Israelis a blank check. And one example of that is a decision that I made. I decided early on in our administration that we were going to seek good relations. In fact,
I went to that clip ahead of time. But Cynthia McKinney, she says, I found all kinds of little nuggets. Americans were legally required to pay moving expenses for any Jew worldwide that decides to move to Israel. Anybody paying your moving expenses?
Hell no, not even welfare.
Nobody paying my goddamn expenses. But again, this is why I say, the voters, you got to wake up. You can no longer participate in the duopoly. I'm sorry. You can no longer participate in the duopoly. And I think that because of those comments in particular, that was one of the main reasons why they came after Nixon hard. Sister Marcia, you about to say something?
So I wonder, with the whole previous Back to Africa program, is that something that they use to platform the Back to Israel program? Or, when Israel just started in 1940, 49, 47, one of them years. I wonder if that was the platform that they used. And Cynthia also mentions that any funds that is not used is rolled over for the next year. So we could only imagine how much money is sitting in this return to Israel platform, what they call that line item right now, because they go and come back. So anytime I can be like, hey, yeah, I returned, but now I came back because my mama died and now I got to go back again. Is it a what? Like, these are the questions that I now ask. Like, was it a one-time payment, or is it I could always tap into that fund anytime I want to just visit? So it's very interesting how they move around the world and we don't.
Hey, Sister Keisha, I put in the chat. I apologize. It wasn't the Cole. It was the Liberty. I put it in the chat if you want to show it to the people.
That's right. The Liberty. Yes, that's right. The U.S. Liberty was attacked. I think 240 men were on that ship, and I think maybe 25 deceased, if I'm not mistaken. And they were left there to die by Lyndon Baines Johnson. LBJ said, and I quote, "I don't give a damn if a few soldiers died. We will not embarrass our friend and ally Israel." That was his quote, not mine. That was his quote. So,
But so wait, just so that I'm clear, they attacked us and he supported them still.
Yes.
After attacking his citizens.
Yes. Now think about that. Think about that along with politicians who are required to accept Israel's stance as far as its nationhood is concerned. The inviting of all politicians to APAC fundraisers and town talks and the things of that nature. When you look at, like I said, Lyndon Baines Johnson's commentary, the way the U.S. government is under Israel's thumb, the way that Israel's prime minister can just show up unannounced to the floor of the U.S. Congress to address them at will, gives me, now I don't profess to know all the answers, but as far as my understanding, y'all see there's a lot of books back here. As far as my understanding is concerned, we are an occupied nation, or they are an occupied nation. The U.S. is under occupation. How about that? Because if you can't speak against, you have to give funds yearly, consecutively. You are an occupied nation. Your citizens aren't allowed to speak against. Your mainstream media has to fall in line with. It's my understanding, based on the books back here at the top shelf over here, that this is an occupied nation. You guys, Brother Black, what do you think? Is the United States an occupied nation? Uh-oh, I can't hear you, Black.
Of course not. I'm here. I was trying to unmute.
Okay,
of course it is, Sister Keisha. We know the history of the Khazar. Let's put the right wording on them. We know the history of the Khazar. They got kicked out of every European country, sometimes some countries 2 and 3, 4 times. And then they went to South America. They brutalized the people there, started the slave trade, and then they came up here and took over. And if you read books like The International Jew and the one by Ford, the one that started the car company, assembly lines on the car plants, and all those kind of books like that, and even Jeannie's book, you know this stuff. So don't say I'm saying it. Like Sister Keisha held my toes to the fire and said, you're going to show and verify your stuff. I'm reading all this stuff and read some of it already. And so I know what I'm saying when I say these things. This is a worldwide dynamic. This is not just something in the United States, and it's been going on. I yield.
I think you're muted, sis.
This is the Wikipedia page that Brother Black shared. It says the USS Liberty incident was an attack on the United States Naval Technical Research Ship, a spy ship, USS Liberty, by Israeli Air Force jet fighter aircraft and Israeli Navy motor torpedo boats on June 8, 1967, during a 6-day war. The combined air and sea attack killed 34 crew members, naval officers, seamen, 2 Marines, and 1 civilian NSA employee. Wounded 171 crew members and severely damaged the ship. At the time, the ship was in international waters north of the Sinai Peninsula, about 25.5 nautical miles northwest from the Egyptian city of Arish. So, you know, it's real. It's real, family. And to find out, and for this nation to still not even want to talk about it, not want to deal with it, as LBJ say, I want to embarrass their friends. But, you know, I'm glad a lot of people are speaking out about this occupation that the United States is under as far as Israel is concerned. Sister Marcia?
Now, the other line said Israel apologized. So all I need to say is I'm sorry. And that's what we keep forgetting. That's just say I'm sorry and it's okay. And I think we're too easy to think that sorry means something. Sorry doesn't actually mean a lot until actions behind it. And the actions behind it has left people in a chokehold, whether they realize it or not. And as you said, Sister Keisha, people are now realizing they are under a chokehold of Israel, a country that, in a sense, America founded for them. And now they are like, now that place is too small. We want America. So we're going to push you out one way or the other. So just realize that and move accordingly.
Hey, Sister Keisha. Hey, Tad, you want to touch this?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Sister Keisha, real
Go ahead,
quick.
Brother Black. Go ahead.
We can even talk about our own, because if you know, do you remember the Gulf of Tonkin incident? Are you familiar with that? The Gulf of Tonkin, it was what started the Vietnam War, because Vietnam would refuse to attack the United States. So they did a false flag operation in the Gulf of Tonkin. I don't remember the name of the ship. I could find it easily. And that's what started us going into Vietnam, because the French couldn't handle them. So we did it to ourselves as well. So part and parcel, and probably the Khazar planned it with the United States government. You know what I'm saying? Because that synergy came about soon after World War II, with the synergy of Operation Paperclip, when they had all the Nazi scientists and generals and all that. And most of them moved to where? Like I told you earlier, when the Khazar got kicked out of Europe finally, they went to South America, and that's where most of them went.
You know, I want to give a shout out to the ancestor Dick Gregory. You know, we're going to pull him up because he warned black people, you know, well, people in general, you can't be choosing the lesser of two evils and think that's going to fly for you. So you ain't got to listen to us. Listen to the ancestor. Here we go.
The lesser of the two evils, you evil yourself. That's how Hitler came to power. Okay? We don't see that. But you got to be evil. Here's a guy rapes a woman once a month, another guy rapes a woman once a day, and you got to pick one to babysat for you. You're evil. And that's what America, that's how Hitler came to power. See, few people know Hitler won that election by 288 votes. Okay? And almost wiped the world out. So you can get by with that with the church, but you can't get by with that with the universe that made the moon, the sun, and the stars. And that's where we are.
What do you say to that activist, to that young person, to that elder who's saying, okay, what do I do for the next 4 years?
You can do nothing. You're not going to make 4 years. This country won't make 4 years. It's over.
Now, when you say it's over, what does that mean?
It means decline. The Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians, all of them fell. Okay? All of them fell. You see it.
So what should we do? Because Jim over here talks about the resistance.
Please.
They had a resistance with even going against Hitler.
Please. The Jews didn't know what Hitler was doing. Okay? Our problem is we think we're part of this government, and you're not.
Yes, sir.
Time you vote.
You know, but you'll still be voting. You'll still be voting and taking part of the foolishness and complain about it later. Brother Leonard, shout out to Leonard. He says Hitler and the Bushes are related. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And also Jimmy Carter and Berry Gordy, if you didn't know, second cousins.
Hitler was a Rothschild.
Berry Gordy and Jimmy Carter also cousins. So
you know who else is a Rothschild?
Go ahead.
Bill Cosby's wife.
Camille Cosby?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Rothschild.
Interesting. Never heard that before. Interesting. But go ahead.
Oh, one more thing. Why did Jay-Z name his record label Rockefeller?
I don't know.
Because he a Rothschild? Because he a Rothschild?
I don't know on that, but you know, even Nas said it on Ether when he said, yeah, and that's the name you name your company after. I don't know. I'm just asking.
Well, maybe he's bidding, you know, he's bowing down, like, you know, Father, look at me, I'm here, you know. So he's probably like fourth cousin or something, and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you. This is what I'm gonna do. Put me in line. I don't know. I'm just running with you. I don't know. I'm just
no. That's a great point. But the point I want to, so in reverse, why didn't Rockefeller sue him? If he, you know, why would you take a drug dealing dude from the hood and allow him to use your name? And there's no problem with it, even though he changed the spelling.
But a rock is a rock.
I'm talking about Rockefeller. I'm not talking about Rock Nation now.
I understand what you're saying, but I see what you're saying. I just think that I don't know. Good points. Good points. We've all made good points. I've let my imagination run, and that's what we all have to do sometimes when we're hearing these theories.
Interesting. But moving right along, well, shout out to Sister Brooke, Sister Veronica, want to check in. Shout out to them. But we're going to continue on. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Pullman Porters, right? Because oftentimes we have very vague history about them, but I just want to run over some things really quick because, when you look at what's happening now with the current administration and the new administration that's coming in January, both of them have very interesting perspectives on these union jobs. And Black people's voices are stifled, if you will. But you can't talk about that without giving some historical context, right? So, about the Pullman Porters, Pullman was a company town built by the Pullman Palace Car Company to house its workers and their families. This took place on 4,000 acres of land on the south end of Chicago between Illinois Central Rail Line and Lake what is that? Calumet, if you will. The town was designed by architect Solon Spencer Beman and landscape architect Nathan Barrett. The town was intended to be orderly, sanitary, and aesthetically pleasing, but a lot of that went awry. And we'll talk about that. The town included library, theater, school, churches, shops, parkways, plazas. There was housing that was spacious, allegedly for the employees of the Pullman Company. So at this time, it was the first of this type of entity happening. A corporation whose idealism was to have their employees not only loyal to them in job, but loyal to them in business and in society living. And so that's what the Pullman Company manifested. Now, when we were enslaved, we were the number one employee, right? When we were emancipated, if you will, it was the Pullman Company that hired all of those formerly enslaved Black men to work for that company to offer luxury living for travelers who were going along the rails. So Black men were the first employees of the rail. So you have to know that history. Another point in history with the Pullman Porters is the son of Abraham Lincoln, which is often not discussed. Robert Todd Lincoln, the son of Abraham Lincoln, was the president of the Pullman Palace Car Company from 1898 to 1911. The Pullman Company was the largest employer of African Americans in the United States during this time, and Lincoln was responsible for making life difficult. Come on. Lincoln was responsible for making life difficult for the company's Black workers. So, unlike his father, still wanted to keep the foot on the necks of Black people. Also, a little bit of history. I believe it was the brother of John Wilkes Booth that actually saved his life. He had slipped on one of the rail tracks or something like that, and fell. And I believe it was the brother of John Wilkes Booth that saved him. So, just a little bit of history and a little bit of background as far as transit is concerned. We talked about the transit system here in MTA, in New York, rather, is MTA. But I wanted us to have a little bit of background about the railways and our connection to its history. It says Lincoln refused to meet with Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois to discuss the company's policies regarding those biases. The Pullman porters were subject to a variety of discrimination, if you will. They were called George, they were called N-word, and there are a lot of videos on YouTube you guys can look at your leisure. But, when it came to organizing their union, the Black Pullman porters, it was the Black Pullman maids who did a lot of that work when A. Philip Randolph, its spokesperson, was traveling throughout the country to get people on board. It was the Pullman maids who housed him, who made sure that he was taken care of, and got the word out, if you will, on these jobs, because you had several Pullman porters on these trains to take care of these passengers. But normally there was either maybe two, but definitely one Pullman maid on each rail. And she was responsible for manicures, doing their hair. Some of the passengers who brought their children on board, these Pullman maids were the ones who took care of those children. And a lot is not spoken about the Pullman maids, and I'll pull up something in a minute. But Sister Marcia, your thoughts on the history of the Pullman porters and their connection to Abraham Lincoln's son, and just the history in general of Black men being the first to work these rails.
Well, in America, Black men and women are the first to do a lot of things, right? And we need to recognize and pay homage to our ancestors for the works that they laid down, that foundation. So the connections are just so amazing, because to have your father emancipate people, which we all think, oh my God, we're emancipated, elders or great elders that are no longer here used to have Lincoln on their wall, right? So it's just so interesting how this bloodline has been used in our minds as greatness, and has been really against us all. And we don't understand that. But now, with all the foresight, we could really speak clearly to future generations about, you need to really use critical analysis before you say jump to anything. You have to understand what everything means. And of course, we can't understand what everything means, but if you understand what 1 and 1 means, then you could move forward. But if you don't have a grasp about 1, and then you just keep going and going, then you're running around in circles. So we need to stop running around in circles and start running to greatness. I don't know. But that's really, really interesting. I really am excited to learn more. But we know that the rail system was something that afforded us towns. Our people had many towns because of the rail system. And that's one of the reasons why they dismantled rail systems as they used to be, because they didn't want us to thrive in the spectacular ways that we were doing. So yeah. Eager to learn more. Thanks, sis.
Yes, I put the link in the chat. Anybody can read it at your leisure if you wish. But, research a little bit more on the Pullman maids, because they are not often spoken about. And again, we have this bad way of learning history. We look at it in one person, one place, one incident, one moment. But that's not the proper way to study history. You have to study in entirety. You have to look at the whole spectrum of what happened during a particular time period to give you a clear understanding of what it is that you're looking at. But speaking of which, on Saturday, we will be going to the J.P. Morgan Museum and Library. If you want to go, meet us there at 12:30. It is on Madison between 36th and 37th Streets. You can't miss it. When you arrive, when we get there, we're going to first check out the Belle de Costa Green exhibit, and then we'll move throughout the library. I want you all, for those of you who are attending, to pay attention to the books that are on display. You are not allowed to take them off. Actually, they're behind cages, and you'll see that. But take photographs of the titles of those books, and I want you to research why they are so important. Why are they so expensive to have? Why are they collectors? Pay attention to the conversations that you hear throughout the museum. Look at the structure, if you will. You will see a lot of medieval art there as well. You will see some Egyptian art. There is some contemporary art there as well. And again, rare books, literature, for those of us who are book lovers, as you can see behind here. For those of us who are readers, this is a reader's paradise. But I'm looking forward to going again this Saturday. Again, if you want to attend, please, please, please get your tickets in advance. Get your tickets in advance, because, you know, on Saturdays during the midday, it could be quite, you know, hectic, and you don't want to be caught waiting to get online again, because it can get long. It can get long. Remember, you have to check your coats when you are there, because you can't walk around with your coat in your hand. Coat check is free, so you don't got to worry about paying for that. But you can't unless you want to keep it on, and it can get kind of warm in there as you move around. We're going to play this clip and we'll come right back. This is where we're going on Saturday. So you guys can see. Hold on.
Nestled in the middle of Manhattan is a time capsule, part library, part museum, full of treasures amassed by a titan of the finance industry, J.P. Morgan. His unlikely partner in his quest for rare books, Belle de Costa Green, a woman with a story of her own.
Morgan was known for hiring the best people, regardless of their qualifications, and he must have just known that Belle Green was one of the best people for the job, if not the best person for the job.
Born in 1879 as Belle Marion Greener, she was raised in Washington, D.C. Her father, Richard, was the first Black graduate of Harvard. But when Belle was a teenager, her parents separated, leaving her mother to raise Belle and her siblings under a new name and new identity, passing for white instead of living as Black.
She still had to, navigate a world that told her she was less than.
Eventually, Belle made her way to Princeton University, working as a librarian when she met a nephew of J.P. Morgan, who put in a good word with his uncle.
Clearly, she made quite an impression with her knowledge, with her personality, with her confidence, and the rest is history.
Morgan quickly recognized her talents, elevating Belle to his chief negotiator at auctions at home and overseas.
Did he like that she was trying to get a deal, even though he obviously had no budget?
Morgan always wanted a deal.
Her formidable reputation well known to this day, even to her descendants. Her great-grandnephew, Bob Leitner, fondly recalling her nickname, Aunt Bull.
How did she get that nickname?
She was the bull in the room. She did things that women weren't supposed to do, because that's who she was.
Outside of the library's walls, Belle was no stiff. A fixture on the New York party circuit, wearing the latest fashions, her hats a standout.
Do you think she was having fun?
Oh, yeah. She was having so much fun. She was working hard at the Morgan and then playing hard, in New York in the evenings.
But all the while keeping a big secret with dangerous consequences, like losing her dream job.
People always have this idea that, well, it was New York City, it wouldn't have been so bad. And it's like, oh no, unfortunately, while we might not have had the kind of institutionalized Jim Crow laws that the South had, racism was rampant, segregation was rampant.
As for whether JP knew her true identity, his family says the jury's still out on that. It's something Peter Morgan Penoyer, JP's great-great-grandson, wonders about himself.
The consensus is that he didn't know, but I'm not sure. He may have known.
What gives you pause?
They work so closely together. It seems implausible to me that there's no chance.
Speculation aside, at its core, a bond between two bright minds, one the Morgan hopes to capture as it turns 100 this year. Its curator is now preparing an exhibit in Belle's honor, with highlights including one of her paychecks she signed herself.
You wonder what it would have meant for her at the time.
This is the paycheck she would have brought home. And so her mother got to see that, you know, her children were succeeding in this world, despite everything they had to overcome.
And one of her final purchases for the museum, a letter from abolitionist Frederick Douglass.
The very last paragraph of this letter is Frederick Douglass calling for equality for African Americans to be seen for their full worth and merit.
Yeah, you wonder if she was sending everyone else a message by selecting this at the end.
Exactly.
That message, now the essence of her legacy.
What do you hope people will take away from her story?
That it doesn't matter what gender you are, what race you are. If you're competent and you're a strong enough individual, you can forge ahead and do anything you want and be whatever you want.
That's the crazy part. You know, when to have this idea that you can be whatever you want, typical of a white man to say. If that's the case, then his great-great aunt wouldn't have to pass for white, right? So, you know, the contradiction in his understanding of what his great aunt had to go through or pretending to be. Very, very interesting. There is a book entitled Personal Librarian that you can read, or I believe it's on audiobook as well. Very, very interesting story. Her relationship between her mother and father dissolved prior to her working for J.P. Morgan. The father was a staunch, pro-black, fighting for the rights of his people, separated from his wife, and she decides to raise the children as white. He became infuriated by that. They had serious knockout, drag out arguments about that. It became problematic because she was a daddy's girl and she had to sever the relationship with him for quite a bit of time because of her passing for white. Not just her, but her siblings. That's the way her mother raised her. Both of her parents were black, but just fair skin. And that was the route she chose to go. But it's very, very interesting seeing this news clip and hearing how they speak about her. In the book, Personal Librarian, J.P. Morgan was very, very much interested in her sexually. Belle DaCosta Green, like I said, she just wasn't the art historian, curator, and librarian. But she was a woman about town. She was that girl outside. She hung out up in Harlem or in Greenwich Village. But again, not letting people know her identity until later on in her life. When, the paparazzi came around, because again, she was one of the most sought after authorities as far as art history is concerned. And so, whenever she came around, paparazzi would show up, taking pictures of her. At first, she was very worried about that because she didn't want her identity exposed, but later became comfortable just from her association with J.P. Morgan. People just didn't play with her. Her association with the Carnegie family, people just didn't play with her. but she definitely struggled with that. But it's just a very, very interesting story. Again, not just knowing her story, but understanding the time and what was happening during that time. Her father was working with Republican senators to forge progression for Black people, not just here in America, but abroad. So for those of you who come from other lands, her father was an advocate for you as well. So read the history of Richard Greener and you'll find out a little bit more. Sister Marcia, your thoughts on us going Saturday to the Morgan Library?
You know me, I love learning adventures, so I'm excited for that. You know, I was just thinking, Carter G. Wilson, one of them. I always, forgive me.
Woodson.
Thank you. He mentions in the book Miseducation, he mentions librarian, and I just so like it just like ding 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 ding, all jingle bells in my head, and I just feel like, was he giving us a silent clue for those explorers in the future? You know, he's cluing us about our past. And again, this is why reading is so important, because once we could connect the dot, we could understand that our people cloaked themselves for survival for a purpose. Now we may not, we may see it as, she just kept getting her check, she didn't care about the community, da 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 da. But it is said that that library has a trove of stuff about us. So she
and everybody else.
Right. But you know, just to think about, she's doing everybody else because of her employers, but to think about doing for us in disguise. Oh, this must be really interesting for the Negroes. You know, I could just imagine the conversation, you know. So
but the thing is, it's funny you say that, because she wouldn't have said that. That's the thing. She wouldn't have said that. She probably would have said, this is something for us to have because of the Negroes. And it's a possession like the scrolls, if you will. The scrolls that are there on display. That's the thing. How did they gain possession of them in the first place? Is beyond me. And like I said, she was a woman who had no budget. He gave her no budget, and she traveled the world to collect these pieces. And so she said in her writings, and again, it's in the book, Personal Librarian, she says that, you know, when she would sit in the front row and people would know, oh shit, Belle is here. You know, we ain't buying nothing today out of that. But that she commanded that, you know, working with that. So it's very interesting that she passed for white, but her correspondence with Frederick Douglass, very, very interesting. I mean, it's crazy. And who her partner was.
Yeah, so I'm just really excited to see this moving forward and, you know, come back with a glowing report.
Check this out. This is something to think about. Imagine being able to pass for white and the psychological weight that requires to even, like, you know, go against everything you know of yourself and still be able to get those accomplishments. Now, flip that on the other side. Imagine being dark-skinned in that time and being just as smart or smarter than her. Oh, come on, man.
Come on, Black. Come on, Black.
It ain't like, you know, nah, he all right. No, that's that nigga right there. That type of shit.
It'd be, that's that Negro.
You heard
put the grow on it.
I'm from the Bronx. I say it like that. I don't say it a lot, but I said it once on this show this year. Okay.
So
sorry, Keisha. You know I love you.
Nah, but we talk.
Hello. Let Keisha go, please.
No problem, no problem. So it is alleged that Beyonce gonna clean up in the Country Music Awards and the Grammys this year. I don't know, or next year, wherever it come out. But anyway, I found this video and I thought it to be very, very interesting as far as Black cowboy culture is concerned. Let's go to the continent, shall we? Here we go.
Subculture in Southern Africa that's rooted in rock and roll. Yes, these are the hellbangers of Botswana, and where they're from, heavy metal means more than music. So for some context, as classic rock morphed into metal at the end of the 80s, it was adopted by Botswana's cattle culture, and they formed this faction of like leather-clad cowboys, birthing a scene that's called Maroc. Essentially, they turned metal into a means of expression, using it to address African social conditions, and this dark, studded style has kind of become their uniform. They all have stage names too, which is honestly so sick. Blade works at Woolworths, Cybox a security guard, Desert Superpower is an electrician, Hardcore Series is a graphic designer. A lot of their pieces are actually handmade, and I feel like they just have so much character. Now, when ID Magazine went to Botswana, they decided to document members of Maroc wearing designer, but they still managed to preserve their personal style. Midnight wore chaps from Ambush with his own accessories, while Chainblock layered a trench from the Row over his own outfit. Psycho went with Y Project for his coat, and Boyk's hat, boots, and belt mix well with Marnie. I guess death metal does have a home in the desert, where it's never too hot for a little leather.
And listen, people gonna stop playing with me over here. You see the continent. You see how they rocking out. You see how they rocking out. You keep throwing away your culture if you want to. Keep throwing away what you created and see what continues to happen. Somebody else gonna pick it up and run with it. And like I said, it's alleged that she gonna clean up for the awards, but me personally, I think it should be K. Michelle. That's just my opinion.
You don't think she's scared to come outside right about now with this climate we in?
I don't know, Black. I don't know. I ain't speculating. I don't know. I don't want to be have over here. But I'm just saying.
Hey, what if this happened? What
I'm
if they
just saying black rock, black cowboy culture is heavy. Even in Jamaica, they listen. When I go back, which is in a couple of weeks, I'm telling you, I'm taking a picture of my brother-in-law cowboy boots. They be rocking them heavy. Stop playing.
Well, the islands always enjoyed Western music before anything else. That was their thing. They remade all the Westerns.
Look at Dr. Filet. She said, "Oh no, don't do this to us, K-Fighter. Don't do it." Listen, Dr. Filet, I'm trying to tell you. When I said that, and I'm gonna call brother Ashe. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all, I warned y'all where it's going. You ain't have to believe me. But brother Tad, your thoughts on the brothers and sisters from the continent who are picking up this cowgirl culture?
Nah, they rocked it to death. But like I always say, man, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Fulton Street, man. I know my neighborhood is a trendsetters. We give a lot of the world culture. Like, I don't know if I can speak for Marcia, but I know Sister Keisha, Brother Black, we from the hip hop culture, which really changed everything. We was not just the music, but the style of dress, the graffiti. Like, we would take chalk right in the streets, on the side of the building. Like, everything was an expression on how we weren't part of mainstream. We wasn't trying to adopt nothing that was already done. We said, we gonna do this way. When dudes didn't have turntables, we was kicking the beat. We was doing the beatbox, banging on the lunch tables with a quarter, banging on the halls and the tenements for the acoustics. So it's no wonder we got our own style. And I love that you said we can't give it away, Sister Keisha, because what we have manufactured right now, this style that they call our culture is not our culture. This culture of degeneracy. And sure, as we talk about history, I want folks to really read these books from the 1800s and early 1900s on how they spoke of us in a negative light, using it as justification to delete us. And we knew it wasn't true. We knew it was all lies. But unfortunately, fast forward to this new millennium, we, the originators, have now adopted this manufactured culture given to us by the enemies, that our young people are out there spinning the block on each other with these military style weapons that our families are in shambles, as we talked about in the top of the show. Just everything is about relationships right now. We don't even know how to get along no more. Like, we have to tap back into who we are, what make us super dope and super great. A lot of folks on this planet have been deleted. They've went extinct. Not us though. We still going strong, even with the little bit that we have. So imagine we tap back in, because I'm telling you, they was rocking it over in South Africa. I never even seen that before. Make me want to go get a leather trench coat. I don't know about the chaps though, because I still equate those with the village dudes in the village with them chaps. They keep those and them Prince jeans. You know what I'm saying? But I can rock the hat and the leather trench. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna have Little Nas X move to State Street downtown Brooklyn wearing those.
Nah, we're gonna send him to whatever planet you sitting on with the Anunnaki. You, Lil Nas X, and Billy Carson. And if y'all act stupid, I'm telling West Huff where y'all at.
I'm telling you. Hey, Rush said no Diddy, no Diddy. Yo, Sister Brooke, she said, nah, my cousins in Houston still do this. FBA Cowboys all over the South. Yes.
And we're doing it everywhere, man. Everywhere. The melanin is popping right now, y'all. Schumann resonance. Get it.
Lenore said he got his tag.
All right. I hope we talking about the leather, not the Prince jeans.
Nah, he ain't got those. He ain't got
I know
those.
he ain't got those. Not my big bro. I'm like, oh, brother.
I know him well enough. He ain't got those.
I mean, the style they was rocking, it did look real good. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. In our community, we got to stop being afraid to express ourselves. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we think we always got to rock the urban street gear. And I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's real comfortable. Like days I'm not in the office, first thing I'm throwing on is a sweatsuit. I was sharing with somebody the other day. My Timbs feel heavy now. Before, those was the standards. Used to go to the gym with Timbs on, run on the treadmill, hit the weights like we was in the yard with Timbs on. But now, you know, but I guess I've outgrown that.
Yeah,
you know,
and you a soldier. Yeah, you need to have your feet ready at all times, brother.
Right, but there's this paradigm that we get caught in on who we have to be, because again, as we was talking about riding the train with the homeless people, the people with mental health issues, I also see our young people and the despair in their eyes and their willingness to just delete somebody because they feel so empty and hollow on the inside. And sometimes I think, like, is there going to be a civil war of the old heads versus the youngins? Because the youngins are getting loose. You see, they really don't show respect to the elders. And that's because they're caught in this mindset, in this paradigm of what it is to be a Black man in America. What you gonna say, sis?
Well, speaking on that, in IT this week, the young folks are deleting old people.
That's what I'm
saying. This is they don't see no value. And again, if you can't show people a pathway of a lot of things, they'll see you as useless and in their way. And my mom and I were speaking on this, and she's like, oh my God, all those libraries. I was like, oh, Ma, you think of yourself as a library? You go, girl. But it is so true. And I think, it's history is reciprocal, right? It keeps coming back because we haven't broken a pattern. So we really have to find a way to forge that connection with all of our will and all of our might, because everybody needs everybody. No, the children can go out here and think they could be invincible because that's what Diddy thought. And now look at him. So we're not invincible. We need one another. We really need guidance from the elders, and the elders need motivation from the youth. But if we can't find a way to bridge the gap of, capitalism or white say that's in between us, we're really going to be in a sad place. And I don't see sadness for us.
With that being said, what are your thoughts? What does it look like for Black people politically in 2025, Sister Marcia?
Unmute,
Mercury retrograde is retrograding.
Cut her mic.
Okay.
Cut her mic. Cut
Why?
her mic.
The Anunnaki in me.
You sound like Billy Carson Part 2.
Uh-oh.
Sound like Millie Carson.
Uh-oh.
No, amethyst is the best. No, but 2025, we really need to hunker down and read and act on some political thoughts. We need to get our ducks in a row and really see where we're going and position ourselves in places. Find pockets in each community of 20. So like East New York, 20. Bed-Stuy, 20. Crown Heights, 20. Once you get 20 everywhere, then those 20s are supposed to grow if they're really about doing the business of the people. We have to get back to loving our community and establishing values and morals. I say our communities do not have values and morals. I know we've disputed about this a few times, but when you go outside and you see some of the things happening, there can't be. It just can't be. Your house is one thing, but outside of your house is really the other extension. So we really have to get back to loving our community. That's foremost. Knowledge and love, that's foremost. If we can't do that, then we're not getting anywhere, and gentrification will win, and apartments will be $5,000 for a studio by 2026. So get yourselves together.
In the Bronx?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Shoot. In Brooklyn.
It's already that in Brooklyn.
Oh, shoot.
I already tell you. It's already
Damn.
That. They told you in the 90s, Brooklyn going to be the new Manhattan.
Right.
I'll be
He's already there, Brother Tad.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell them, sis. I know.
I don't know. I don't go to Brooklyn. I just visit.
I'm here. But no, I think that's the dope question that Sister Keisha asked, because what it would look like for me is, as we say in the hood, I always got to revert to the hood. That's my foundation of my education. Scared money don't make no money. We have to organize our money, put it behind somebody, put it behind Sister Keisha, let her run for city council, get a hold of that money inside of there. Then we start taking your 20, you talking about Sister Marcia, and investing in them, letting them know, look, we need to establish these not-for-profits, da-da-da. The city has money for this, that, and the third. It has to be allocated to this community, that community. But if we're not showing up, we're not doing what's necessary, because ain't nothing moving without money. And I just want our folks to really understand that. I hear folks constantly curse dollars. You talking about a dude from a poor family. I know the value of $1. I know what money could do for a hungry family, for hungry young people, because we want to talk to the children about morality. You ain't got no morals when you starving and you cold outside. When you got on your little brother's last year coat and your ribs is touching, you don't want to hear about respect to elders. You want to hear about, how can I stay warm and how can I eat? Where's my safety at? And that's what we have to address, the needs of the people. But you can't teach the people if you can't reach the people. And we can't reach them if we act like we're in the ivory tower and we're better than. Because I like that. I definitely agree with you, sis. 20 people in each different community just organizing. But we do need a representative to go in these places and get that money. This money is here. That's why we were gentrified. Them folks said, oh, this money allocated in Brooklyn, and those people aren't using it. So we can move, become a resident, and then we start going into these meetings and we start taking the money, saying, look, I need this in my community. I need this, that in my community. Because once they become residents, it becomes their community, even if it's only 2 white families in Bed-Stuy. And we seen how that worked. But we still, how can I say this? We still with this old school rhetoric. We want to stick it to the man and we want to yell, yo, ain't no black power without the black dollar. That money's allocated for us, but we don't go get it. And when you talk about getting money, people acting like you just cursed their mother out. Man, money don't mean nothing. That's the white man stuff. Capitalism's from the white man. Let me get $1, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ain't nothing happening without no money. And I ain't saying let's sell each other out for money, but I'm saying let's organize for what is there, because many of us as Black folks, since we've been here, that's been our money. That's our taxes. All that stuff that we not using is the money they take from us every time we get money. And they get our money before we see it. So why we not spinning the block going to get our money from the folks who took it? And then we could feed the children. Then we could put programs in place. Then we ain't got to tell people to buy their tickets for the museum ahead of time. We got the money. City Council gave us the money because the money was there. So we got money for 100 tickets for us to go to J.P. Morgan Museum. And we giving the people the information. And then we feeding them also, because there's tons of food banks out here. You got Black farmers out of town who's dying to get rid of their crops. Link up with them. Like, we acting like we don't know what to do.
We got a Black farmer right here.
Yeah, but how many watermelons you gonna give us? Everybody want a watermelon tomorrow.
I'm getting mine.
I'm getting mine too.
Thank you. Thank you.
But no, I do like what you said though. You know what I'm saying? Because it starts like that. Because believe it or not, that's how gangs take over communities. Just get a little bit here, a little bit there, build the network, and we rock. I mean,
definitely, we got to make some changes. We got to make some changes. I like what Leonard said. 2025, we need to establish Black independent laboratories all over this nation. Don't worry, brother. We going to hit the ground running. I'm telling you, we going to hit the ground running. Brother Black, your thoughts. Where do you see us politically in 2025? Black people, that is.
2025, Black people. Utter anarchy. And the real meaning of the word anarchy isn't what we know it to be in this day and age. The real meaning of the word anarchy is self-rule. Okay, with that said, in my opinion, now, this is just an opinion, when you self-rule, you need to base it on the law. And the law is ma'at. Inside of the fifth dimension, when we don't have all these 3D situationships going on in our lives. Real talk.
Shout out, Sister Vanessa.
I'm glad you. glad y'all find that humorous.
Yeah, it was like she was on time.
You know what? It was. Sister Vanessa, you know, I've been looking at Alabama. Believe it or not. I was having a conversation the other day with some of my swap sisters talking about that very same thing. You got politicians today, speaking of politicians, in the city of Boston, city council, lost her goddamn mind. Lost her stand down. That's why other folks need to
shout out to all the political
down.
city girls.
Here we go. Let's play the clip and we'll come right back, family.
Some of the corruption going on in Massachusetts politics is finally hitting a tipping point, as this morning a Boston city councilor woke up to FBI agents surrounding her house, and she's now being charged with 5 counts of felony fraud and 1 count of theft. So the story of Tanya Fernandez Anderson is a really fascinating one. So a lot of the storyline gets tied up around the fact that she was an illegal immigrant. She came here illegally. She eventually did get her American citizenship, but a lot of the negative stories are just kind of blaming her for being an illegal immigrant. A lot of the left-wing stories are kind of championing her for being this diversity, amazing person. I don't really find that too interesting. But one thing that gets skipped in a lot of these stories is she married a first-degree murderer who's doing life in prison for a brutal murder. Like, what? Now, that seems like kind of out of left field, but it kind of ties into what she's getting in trouble for. So she's getting in trouble for fraud involving her family. So in 2023, she got in trouble because she had positions open on her staff as a city councilor, and she hired her sister and her son, which you cannot do. Is you cannot hire immediate family as a city councilor to work for your staff. But not only did she hire them, but she gave them inflated salaries, which you also can't do. So her getting in trouble with that involved in her getting fined for thousands of dollars, which put her in a tough financial spot. So rather than getting an extra job or trying to find some legal way to come up with the money to pay for those fines, she ends up
hiring another family member and giving them an inflated $13,000 bonus with a backdoor handshake deal that that family member will turn around and give her $7,000 from that $13,000 bonus so she can go pay for some of those fines that she faced in 2023. And according to this allegedly did happen in a bathroom. They exchanged $7,000 cash, and I don't know if someone overheard it or what happened, but that's essentially what she got arrested for today. Now, listen, in Massachusetts, we're used to politicians robbing us with.
This is totally insane. But again, the voters, y'all voted for her. What message made you want to vote for her in the first place? That's what I want to know. Shout out to the city of Boston. But God damn it, what made you want to vote for her in the first place? And another thing I keep telling, listen, everybody should not be running and speaking for you. You never know what their intentions are. And all these black politicians in this last election cycle, y'all got your hats handed to you, which is shenanigans. You got Tiffany Hayard out there in Illinois. You got, what the hell is wrong with all of these black selected officials that y'all elected? So, you know, they batshit crazy, and so are you, because you put them in office. That's crazy to me. Brother Ty, your thoughts on this city council person out of the city of Boston?
I feel bad because it's an indictment on the collective, because we play these identity politics, and this gives all the ops like, see, this is why we don't need them in the office, because I believe the mayor of her town is an Asian woman, you know, so other communities look at us like this is why we can't give them no positions, you know. But again, it's identity politics. She's undocumented. She's from Africa. She's a rags to riches story that we're supposed to look up to. But again, you know, her moral integrity is out of whack. And then there's nobody around her to check her, to tell her, nah, chill, don't do that. Don't do that.
What part of Africa is she from?
I want to say not Eureka. Damn, I forget what part of Africa she's from.
You know, in Africa, that is how they do
it's Cape
business.
Verde. I think it's Cape Verde.
Yeah. Cape Verde. Yeah, it could be, because there's a lot of Cape Verdeans in that area. They're in Providence. But in Africa, that's just
Cape Verde.
Yeah, that's just how people think in Africa for the most part. Like you
And
could just
that's
play
why,
freely.
Well,
like,
not only
I'll say this real quick, Sister
I'm
Marcia,
sorry.
and I'm gonna give you the mic to piggyback off what Brother Black said, and that's because they got westernized philosophy. Their information and how they operate and run government, they get it from Western people. That's why they like that. Go ahead, Sister Marcia.
And that's not only happening on the continent, it's happening everywhere colonial hands have landed. And so all of our people throughout the diaspora face the same type of backhand, kiss, shake hand. Oh, I line your pocket, you line my pocket, and it's okay. The only thing here is that there is a little bit of check and balance here in the United States that can make people, you know, accountable for their actions and the resources that they're using. But my question is, sometimes when the Urugus are using their monies in fraudulent ways, I don't see them being checked so hard. So I agree with you all on, I should not run for political office. I should mind my business and work on the ground like I am. But I can run for an office. If I should run for an office, I should run for a non-paying office like I did in the past. Because that way I'm getting boots on the ground and I can get access to resources that can be used for the ground. That should be my role. That should be everyone in my position's role. However, everyone wants the $190 check and keep going and forget about their people. And that should be a fallacy. I don't think politicians should get paid this much. I think it's not fair because they're not working for the people as they're supposed to. Those are my thoughts.
Well, again, Dr. Filet, she says, question, do we know the actual facts? Because listen to the reporter tell the story makes me want to look a little closer. The facts are there are more facts, Dr. Fillet. She has been doing some unscrupulous things since she's been in office, and it's crazy. Her tyrants on the floor makes no sense. She just goes on tangents, and it's just ridiculous. But very, very interesting. So, we got to think better and move better politically if we want to stay afloat. And I don't want to hear any more Black people talking about, well, I don't care about politics, because politics affects everything surrounding your life, period. So you can get involved or not, but how you get involved is very, very important. I saw in the chat, Sister Brooke put up that there was a reparations panel earlier today here in New York. And Sister Brooke is always on top of that. But, I'm going to drop this link in the chat because I want people to start doing some research, especially their own families. Here is a list of slaveholder names in the United States, not just names, but a lot of companies like New York Life Insurance. K Rush 409. Do you see the first name here? You see that name here, K Rush 409? Huh? You see that name right there? Okay. So now, the mere fact that Black people today still have life insurance policies with New York Life, we shouldn't be paying no premiums. You should have $1 million life insurance policies paid for by that institution. But we don't advocate that way politically. The people you select of your process, if you will, given process, they don't talk about this type of apparatuses, these type of things that we can have right here, right now. Nobody Black in the city of New York should be paying state or city tax, or any city. I'm just using New York because we live here. But you shouldn't be paying that. That's a badge of slavery. To still make the descendants of enslaved Africans, descendants of Black people in this country, still pay tax is a badge of slavery. But we have no lobbyists on our behalf to speak of such. We don't have any agitators to speak of such. I don't know, your family name could be in here. Who knows? Right now there's a situation where a young white man killed or unalived a CEO of an insurance company. We shouldn't be subject to any insurance whatsoever. It should be given to us. Since they say they can't figure out how they're going to allocate funds and when they're going to allocate funds, well, in the meantime, this is what you should be doing. Nobody talks about Black people having to pay federal income tax. We shouldn't be paying federal income tax. It's a badge of slavery. We already paid our tax. The city of Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? The move survivors should be exonerated. They should be given reparations off the rip, while crackhead Hunter Biden is pardoned and Mumia Abu-Jamal still sits behind the wall. That's problematic. What are we advocating for? If Assata Shakur can't come home, what the hell are we advocating for? If you can't ride the subway and not get your head busted, then what the hell are you advocating for? If you can't put food on your table because it's too goddamn expensive, what are you advocating for? So when we as Black people create our own voting blocks, I have questions already. Well, how are we going to get other groups to fall in line? Other groups will fall in line because they suffer the same fate. Everybody's a goddamn slave. You're a slave in this nation. I don't care what ethnic group you belong to. If you paying taxes, matter of fact, if they're taking taxes, we don't pay them. They take them. You are a slave. If you got to contribute hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month for medical coverage that doesn't even cover your whole situation or hospital stay, you are a slave. Period. If they put before you a duopoly for you to choose the lesser of two evils, just hear that. The lesser of two evils, you're a slave. The problem is, until the original enslaved are made whole, all y'all gonna continue to suffer. That's why the migrants is in here. To usurp you idiot. So either you get on board with us or you continue to fall too. But it's all a approach. It's how you form your argument. And I'm very good at that. And, you know, I'm just shooting the shit right now. But I'm very good at formulating arguments because I learned from the best on how to formulate arguments. So you can't mess with me at all. I learned from the best. We've come to the end of our program tonight, family. Again, if you want to meet up with me, Sister Marcia and Sister Brooke at the Morgan Library, we'll be there at 12:30 p.m. Not 3:30, goddamn it, because I'm out of there. Saying 12:30, we'll see you at the Morgan Library. Brother Blacksmith, your final thoughts and commentary.
Great event. Thank you once again for having me. Thank you, Sister Marcia and Brother Tad, for tolerating me for 2 hours, every week. Thank y'all. Quite interesting how these supposed SUV-sized UAPs or UFOs or whatever you like calling it up in your neck of the woods now has moved from pretty much centralized over Trump's estate in Bedminster, New Jersey, and in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, over 2 military bases. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, I'm not up there, so, I'm sure one of y'all could take a drive over the bridge and just go. You don't even got to pay the toll. Just hang out 59th Street. I've been there once or twice. In Brooklyn. Anyway, no, real talk though. It's a lot of interesting stuff going on. We didn't even touch a glimmer of, the hip hop stuff that Tad alluded to earlier. And just keep your head on that swivel. I mean, y'all, we've been talking this game for a minute now. Ain't none of us here new with this. It's happening. I don't have to get specific because there's so much stuff happening. So much stuff. So with that said, we're a little over time right now. Peace and love to the panel. Peace and love to the people listening as we speak out there in cyber world. Peace to the family that see this later. And I'm going to say peace to y'all once again. Love. Next up on the mic.
Unmute, sis. Sister Marcia, boy. Unmute.
I got it. Thank you. I tell you, the Mercury, the retrograde, the Anunnakis, they're not my friend. But brothers and sisters, thank you. Thank you. Let's give us all an applaud for a great show, a great discussion on how we can be better through the knowledge of the past, because that's the only way. So I'd like to thank everyone here, everyone listening right now, and everyone listening in the future. Thank you for giving us your time and your ear. And we will love to see you again next week to find out about the library and what adventures we had, because it's always an adventure. And if you can't make time flourish, just let it flourish on its own, because it will and it may. So may time flourish, or make time flourish. And Sister Keisha, I give you permission to share that that link that I have. I have a project coming up on the 18th. If anyone is free, Sister Keisha is going to drop it on our Facebook page so you all can show up. And it's online, so show up and create your 2025 vision. Like Sister Keisha just said, we're going to have a vision board party. So come out and create that vision, because We are the ones that could create the world that we want. Time is on our side, Brother Tad.
All right, all right. So I just want to thank everybody who've been rocking with us. You know, the usual suspects, Brother Lenar, Sister Farnessa, Sister Veronica, Sister Brooke, everybody. Definitely love the love and support. Shout out to everybody watching on the playback. Hopefully you were inspired by something you heard today. It's your turn to go out and inspire others. So y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true. Hold up. Every Sunday, 2 p.m., OG Wisdom Podcast, me and my brother C Gutter, 2 p.m. on YouTube. All right? But y'all stay up, stay blessed, stay true, and remember, no matter how hard things may seem right now, there's always better days ahead. Sister Keisha.
Again, thank y'all for rocking out with us each and every Thursday right here on the Brooklyn Bridge. Tell somebody to tell somebody, it goes down. Again, shout out to Brother Lenar, Sister Veronica in the building, Farnessa, K Rush 409, Big Ma in the building, Edie, Dr. Filet, Brother Ray, Sister Pat. Everybody, if I missed you, I'm sorry. I apologize. But we'll see y'all black again next week. Always remember that everything that we do here is in preparation for what is to come. I don't waste time. I don't waste your time. And I hope you don't waste my time. So next month, we will be going to the New York Historical Society. And I can't wait for the Museum of American Finance to reopen, because that's definitely another place we have to attend. If you want to know who were the financiers of our enslavement, all of that history is right there. I take you on these fact-finding missions so that I can help you sharpen your argument, because as I said, in January 2025, we are going to hit the ground running, either forming our own political party or a major voting bloc nationwide. So good night, y'all. We'll see y'all black again on the BK Bridge next Thursday. And tune in Sunday, 2 p.m. on YouTube to check out Brother Tad and C Gutter OG Wisdom Podcast. Sister Marcia's event will be posted on the Thorough Black Talk page. And we'll also talk about it next week, y'all. Good night, y'all. We are out.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough Black Talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power Media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly